Welcome to another episode of Strange Death, where the shadows whisper and death arrives in the strangest ways. But first, drop the intro.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Jane McDonald died doing what she loved, visiting a friend and not expecting to be gutted by a kitchen appliance. On what should have been a normal afternoon, Jane made the fatal error of walking through a kitchen while the dishwasher was open. A risky move, in hindsight, akin to dancing through a bear trap with your shoelaces tied together. She slipped. That part's still unclear. Maybe a rogue ice cube. Maybe gravity finally had enough. Or maybe Jane just lost her lifelong game of don't trip and die. Regardless, down she went, and fate, ever the minimalist, didn't waste the opportunity. She fell directly onto an upright knife left standing in the dishwasher like Excalibur in a drying rack. Chest first. Not a scratch. Not a graze. Straight up impaled. Like the universe said, let's wrap this one up quickly. She was rushed to the hospital because of course there's a protocol for that sort of thing. But unfortunately, there's only so much modern medicine can do when you've been shanked by a salad knife in your friend's kitchen. She died from her injuries, leaving behind a lot of shocked friends, one very traumatized host, and a dishwasher that's probably now considered a murder weapon. Police ruled it an accident because saying someone got fatally dishwashered isn't a recognized form of homicide. Yet, no foul play suspected, just extremely foul luck. Jane didn't die in a car crash or a plane crash or even anything with a decent insurance payout. She died because someone loaded their silverware like a Bond villain. Let this be a lesson to, well, no one really. There's no grand takeaway here. Sometimes you live your life, you visit a friend, and you get kebabbed by your host's poor knife-loading habits. Rest in peace, Jane. You truly were done in by the dishes. On May 18, 2002, in the sun-scorched wasteland of Tucson, Arizona, 60-year-old auto parts salesman Roger Wallace took a break from hawking carburetors to indulge in his favorite hobby, flying a remote-control airplane with a 5-foot wingspan, a hobby generally considered safe, if not incredibly nerdy. Unfortunately for him, the Arizona sun that day was doing its usual impression of a nuclear explosion, and somewhere between a steep bank and a gentle stall, he lost sight of his miniature aircraft. It wasn't long before the plane came soaring back, not like a majestic bird, but more like a heat-seeking missile with daddy issues. The aircraft, obeying the dark and mysterious laws of karma and bad luck, slammed directly into his chest at a speed sufficient to turn a fun Saturday into his final flight plan. He died on the spot, presumably confused, possibly impressed. Witnesses say it was like watching a tragicomic remake of Top Gun, only without the music, Tom Cruise, or any chance of survival. The irony? He'd probably sold better safety parts to customers that day than he'd applied to his own hobby. In the end, he died doing what he loved, being blindsided by something small, loud, and poorly navigated. The coroner listed the cause of death as blunt force trauma by a remote-controlled aircraft, which, let's be honest, probably confused a few people at the morgue. Let this be a lesson. Always wear sunscreen, and maybe body armor. On August 16, 2003, 39-year-old Rebecca Longhofer, a tourist, a mother of 4, and likely the only person in Vegas wearing sensible walking shoes, met her shocking end on the glitzy sidewalks of Las Vegas Boulevard. She wasn't gambling, drinking, or trying to climb into the Bellagio fountain like most tourists on a bender. No, Rebecca was just doing what responsible moms do, trying to get from point A to point B without losing a kid, a shoe, or her sanity. Unfortunately, Mother Nature and the city's electrical infrastructure had other plans. A freak summer rainstorm, Vegas's way of pretending it's still connected to the water cycle, had turned the strip into a mess of reflective puddles and poor decisions. Hidden beneath one of these deceptively deep puddles was a cast iron plate, and beneath that, a tangled, neglected nest of exposed electrical wires. Because apparently, in Las Vegas, safety inspections are less thorough than blackjack shuffles. Rebecca stepped onto the plate, and just like that, the city that promises electrifying experiences delivered one straight to the chest. Witnesses say there was a flash, a noise, and then an awkward moment where everyone tried to figure out whether it was part of a new Cirque du Soleil act. Spoiler, it wasn't. Paramedics arrived too late to revive her, and Vegas added another tragic tally to its history of bizarre deaths. The official cause was listed as accidental electrocution, though some might argue she was killed by a lethal combination of bad weather, worse infrastructure, and the city's unwavering commitment to looking pretty while falling apart. Her children, presumably traumatized for life, now have to tell people their mom didn't die in some noble or poetic way. She died by stepping into a puddle. In Vegas. In sandals. Let this be a lesson. Puddles are not your friend. And in Vegas, even the sidewalks can kill you without ever dealing you a card.
Thanks for watching this episode of Strange Deaths. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, death doesn't RSVP. It just shows up, usually at the worst time. I'd say stay safe, but let's be real. When it's your time, it's your time.